Charizard, we all love them. There is a lot of these Pokemon that appear over the course of the Pokemon anime. But who is the strongest of them all? Who would storm into the gates of the Charcific Valley and take down every single one of them? Today we're going to be taking a look at all things Charizard because it is one of the most popular Pokemon and, let's be honest, one of the best. And there's just so many of them with actual different and unique battle styles and personalities. So let's get into who is the strongest of them all. Alright, so there is a lot of Charizards, but there's no need to talk about all of them because some of them are just straight buns and not really important to the story or owned by a main character. So no, we won't be talking about the random Charizard that Jesse used at the battle park, or this Bozo Clark's Charizard that Ash took down in the Hoenn League. We're only looking at the main Zards, the big dogs. So at the bottom of the Charizard barrel we have Charla, who is Liza's Charizard. A Pokemon that helps Liza out when she stays at the Charcific Valley and looks after all of the other Zards. Charla is said to not really have battled much. I don't think she was actively training in the valley. She did do damage to Ash's Charizard, but that was quite the while ago, before Ash started this whole training arc with Charizard. So I don't think Charla is very strong. It's more known for its skills in flying and navigating through the mountains to reach the valley. But a cool Pokemon that Ash's Charizard did become quite close with in its time training. Next Zardy up is Trevor's. Now yes, this Pokemon can use Mega Evolution and it was pretty cool to see it battle against Alans, showing off the Y form versus the Z form, but very wasted in my opinion. This Mega would have been way better used on a different or more important character. Nothing against Trevor, he was fine enough, but I never really saw him as a big threat or battler. He was more interested in his photography, and I swear every time we saw this Pokemon battle, it got packed up. As a Charmander at the summer camp, as a Charmeleon by Ash's Fletchinder, and then against Alan. So there's not many feats to look towards this Pokemon. The only thing it's really got going for it is Mega Evolution, which isn't enough to rise to the top of the Zards. Sorry buddy. I was torn on the next two, but I think Kiawe's Charizard has to be next, and purely because this Charizard spent a lot of its time on screen as a ride Pokemon. Very good at soaring through the skies, navigating its way through Alola and delivering milk. But by no means is this Pokemon a pushover. It definitely lives up to its Zard-like battle nature. It's also a very experienced Pokemon, being passed down by the former Kahuna of Akala Island and Kiawe's own grandfather. I think it may be one of the most experienced and wisest Charizards we've ever seen, but it helps out the gang a lot when they are dealing with the Ultra Beast, and also it went up against Tapu Fini to prove its worth in battle. Also took down Sophocles' Vikavolt in the league, so it definitely has big battle moments despite not really being a battler for half of the series. Kiawe did start to use it more in the latter parts of Sun and Moon, but overall it was always great to see this Pokemon, whether it was fiercely battling or just gliding through the skies. This is a Zard worthy of praise. Next we have the latest addition to the Zard family, and this is Freed's Charizard. This Pokemon has already gone up against so many strong opponents, so it is truly worthy of being high on this list. I really appreciate how Horizons introduced us to a brand new Pikachu and a brand new Charizard. Literally the two most popular Pokemon of all time, and they made them feel both different and fun still, and they didn't overshadow any of the new stuff. But Freed's Charizard has had a lot of big battles, multiple clashes with legendaries like the Black Rayquaza and a Galarian Moltres, also going head to head with a Meteo's Ceruledge a few times as well. There's never a dull battle with this guy, it's always strong opponents or nothing. It did lose to Roy's Skeledirge recently, but that's not exactly a detriment to its strength as a whole. It also now knows how to use Mega Evolution and has the Y form, so we can finally forget about that Bozo Trevor and focus on this beast. Not to mention it has the power to terrestrialize and use the Dark Terror type, which comes in handy. Charizard is a really loyal Pokemon to Freed and was most likely the first he ever owned. They seem to share quite the bond, basically overcoming death together. So I think overall Freed's Zard gets a high seat at the table of the mightiest Zards. In the bronze is our boy Ash's Zard, the one we all love the most, the one we have the fondest memories of. This Pokemon was so crucial for the Pokemon anime, and Ash's development in general. Ash learning that if you can't always control your Pokemon, you need to earn the respect and create a closer bond. And the story of Ash and Charizard is one of the best in the entire franchise. But how strong exactly is this Pokemon? Well, it spent a lot of time training in that damn valley, non-stop fighting other Zards, so that would have helped out massively. But it's really hard to tell since we didn't really see Ash's Charizard battle since Black and White, where, let's be honest, they didn't really do much with him there anyway. But if you are to project its development from the end of Johto up until Journeys, which it was pretty damn strong anyway, it had major feats even way back in the day, taking down Gary's Blastoise, Nolan's Articuno, all in its base form by the way. We don't need no Megas or whatever, this is pure grit and determination. I think it's a real big shame that Ash couldn't bring Charizard back again. It could have gone up against Alan's Mega Charizard or Leon's Gigantamax. It could have got its own gimmick to rival the others. And in another timeline, this powerhouse would be the strongest Zard in history.
You got a lot of things to learn, Charizard. You better get started. They're waiting for you.
Runner-up, of course, is Alan's Charizard. This Pokemon has so many feats, it is insane. It has taken down countless Pokemon, including Elite 4 level Pokemon in their Mega forms. It has the Mega Evolution specials where it was just stacking up huge battles, and then just carried on into the main series. Alan's whole purpose was to gather Mega Evolution energy, not knowing he was helping the enemy, but it made him stronger. Lysander's mistake was creating this absolute monster in battle. And then when Alan met Ash, his lust for battle and rivalry only grew. He went and earned all of them badges just so he could face Ash in the finals, both of them pushing each other, and Charizard was his number one Pokemon the whole time. Malva's Houndoom, Karina's Lucario, Ash Greninja, countless strong Pokemon that Charizard has taken down. It even went toe to toe with Steven's Mega Metagross, and clashed with Primal Groudon and Kyogre. It's just a beast. We've never really seen anything like this before in the anime. Alan was such an exciting rival, bringing back Charizard into the spotlight again, really since Ash's, giving it a new Mega, the literal coolest design ever by the way, and making it unstoppable. I know we all wish Ash could have had his revenge one day, but you cannot deny the power that this thing has. It fully deserves to be known as the second strongest Zard of all time. Which brings us on to the strongest Zard in all of the lands, and is obviously Leon's Charizard. This thing is canonically the strongest. It took down Alan's Charizard in the Pokemon World Championships, the second strongest on this list, asserting its dominance, and many other feats, taking down Lance's Red Gyarados, a Pokemon that caused havoc in Johto. He took down Raihan's Gigantamax Duraludon, another tough foe, and then another champion Mega in Diantha's Gardevoir. I mean, this Zard has taken down some of the strongest Pokemon in anime history. It's not only the strongest Zard, but it's also one of the strongest Pokemon of all time, right up there with Ash's Pikachu. The only two battles it really struggled in were against Eternatus during the Darkest Day, which is valid, and then when it finally lost to Pikachu himself. And Ash's Pikachu is one of a kind. I don't think there's any debate that this Pokemon is the strongest Zard. I do wish we maybe got to see its journey a bit more, learned a bit more about it. It was such a legend within the world, unbeaten for such a long time, on the top of its game with a Gigantamax form that could basically one-shot anything, which was insane. You could even argue Leon was massively nerfed in his battle with Ash, giving Ash all three gimmicks. If Ash didn't have access to Pikachu's Z-move, then Gigantamax Charizard might have beat Pikachu and won that battle. But regardless, this Zard is the pinnacle of all Zards. It sits atop the Charcific mountain awaiting its next rival. Let me know what you think. Who is the strongest? Who's your favourite Zard and why? And let's see what Charizard Gen 10 brings us.